the benefits of the fund model that I see are, like I mentioned before, where you're doing everything by the book, you're doing everything according to securities laws. You have a private placement memorandum, you have your subscription agreement, operating agreements, your investor questionnaires. I do see a lot of direct placement lenders who have some elements of these, but not all of them. And it's just, you're doing things by the book and it's legal and it's not as difficult nor expensive as you might think. So I highly encourage that. The other thing too is when you have a fund, you hang on to the funds. You hang on to the capital from the investors. And so right off the bat, do I or do I not have the funds to fund this deal? I love that. I love not having to be dependent on an investor sending me funds or wiring me funds back and forth, back and forth. I can look at the account and say, okay, we have X dollars in the account. We can fund this deal for the borrower. There's not going to be any hiccups. There's not going to be issues at the closing table. And I can perform for the borrower, which obviously helps me look better because I'm not the one who didn't pull through at the last minute. And even though it's an investor that has messed it up for you, you're the one who's going to take the heat. And unfortunately, it's your company's reputation that's on the line. So I love that. Now, one of the downsides of the fund model is the investor relations piece that I talked about before. It is definitely more difficult to keep your investors informed just because you're less incentivized to update them regularly. And that's not to say that you can't. In fact, I think you absolutely should. But I have noticed in the past that investors send me funds and sometimes I forget to give them updates because the funds are just there working, doing what they do. And I'm not calling up my investors regularly for capital calls or things like that. And so again, that's something that I've actively had to work on and set calendar reminders and things for myself. Say, hey, I need to shoot this investor an email, or I need to just give them a call and a quick chat, or send them a report, or something like that. So again, not difficult, not hard. It's probably something you should be doing in your business anyway, but just one small aspect of the fund model that I don't particularly love. All that to say, I do love the fund model. I think it's significantly better. I sleep better at night knowing that I'm doing everything according to the book, according to the laws. There's no issues that are going to arise with the SEC or with me potentially doing something that's not 100% accurate. And I love the convenience of having the capital on hand just to deploy as I see fit.